Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Bauchi State, Senator Bala Muhd, Right Honorable Speaker, Bauchi State House of Assembly, the CJ Bauchi State, permit me to stand on the existing protocol, Your Excellency. Let me first of all, on behalf of Bauchi State Environmental Protection Agency and by extension, Ministry of Environment and Housing, appreciate you for finding us worthy of support. I want to tell you, Your Excellency, Bauchi State Environmental Protection Agency is happy. We are coordinated, we are committed, and we are ready to discharge any responsibility that you think you need us. I want to tell this gathering right now, before I pass the message from the Environmental Protection Agency to His Excellency, that yesterday we received a directive, very strong one, those that are in the interest of His Excellency that escorted him for a condolence visit yesterday in the evening. A gentleman of 70 years old ran to His Excellency and complained about mosquitoes in Bauchi State. Instantly, His Excellency called me to say, Director General BASEPA, you must fumigate Bauchi from the entrance to the exit. I assured him we are starting this job tomorrow night, inshallah. Your Excellency, we actually don't have much to tell you because in BASEPA, we decided to mute our mouths and we just speak when we act. We are acting. Your Excellency, you had a line from the MC. The Honorable Commissioner of the Environment told you a lot. But I want to assure you, all stakeholders in Bauchi State and the general public, that BASEPA that we are ready today, we have not started anything. In fact, as a Director General of the agency, I have not even opened up my blueprint. All I'm doing is I'm just managing the crisis that exists before I came. I want to assure you, when we settle, the general public will tell you precisely what we are doing. Your Excellency, in BASEPA, we have about 90 casual staff. These men, they need your support, they need your help. I promise you that in the gathering like this, I'm going to pass their message. They are your neighbors, they support you day and night, they support your Director General, they support the Honorable Commissioner. They are the indigents of Bauchi State. We work with them day and night. Wherever you call me and say there is problem in Dusan Tenshi, I only use my phone, I will be there, and all the casuals, you will see them there working in the night. Your Excellency, I'm appealing on behalf of them, if you can be able to employ these gentlemen into the agency. Your Excellency, as I have started saying, what we are doing now, we are just strategizing. We are trying to identify how are we going to work and who are we going to work with. The MC mentioned about the 40 partners. I want to tell you, the simple thing we did to invite them is just to create a functional system in BASEPA, and that's why they are here. We have not invited them. They have seen us here and they are working. They have been coming to Bauchi for the past decade, but they couldn't get partners. But now they are willing to work with us. For some of them, we already started. We have nothing to say rather than thank you, Your Excellency. And I want to tell you, the other strategies we are using is inter-institutional collaboration. Before we came on board, Your Excellency, there wasn't a water source in BASEPA. I promised the Permanent Secretary and the General Manager of RUASA that I will use this gathering to thank him. I went to his office. I first visited His Excellency, the Deputy Governor. He directed me to see the GM RUASA. Now, Your Excellency, behind me is our borehole. We are just waiting for reticulation. And in the next week, we are going to have water in BASEPA. We have not spent a penny. It's out of the gesture of the RUASA and the Permanent Secretary, the General Manager, that he decided to come and do borehole in BASEPA. So we really appreciate that. Your Excellency, you can see the market-based vendors we are introducing. It is just a simple initiative. We realize that markets are among the public places that each category of people go to the market. So we have to ensure that markets are clean. So we came up with an idea. We don't want to take much burden on the government. So we decided to intervene. That intervention, Your Excellency, is not from BASEPA. I just made a pen call. I called the CEO of Cosmopolitan Cleaners, which is our service provider. I told him about the idea. I briefed my commissioner. We spoke with them. He said 750,000 naira, and that's why we have this equipment that we are going to distribute to this gentleman. So it's not from us. And these are some of the strategies we are going to be using in order to make sure that all our responsibilities are delivered, Your Excellency. Before now, when you mention BASEPA, everybody will start thinking about waste collection and waste management. When I came on board, I checked the law. I realized that we have about 37 activities that we can operate. This lab, analysis of water, analysis of air, analysis of plant and soil are some of our activities that before nobody knew how to do that. Now we already sent 4 of our staff to Kano in the laboratory just to learn how are they going to do that. And they are completing their course in the next 3 weeks and they will be in our laboratories. We sponsor that from what we have at the agency level. Your Excellency, we really appreciate your support and we will never let this government down. We will always work day and night with our energy, with our talent, our expertise and professionalism, actually to deliver what we're supposed to deliver, Your Excellency. Abin da na faɗa a cikin turanci bayan na yi gaisuwa shine na yi wa mai girma gwamna godiya na irin goyon bayan da yake ba. Sannan na faɗa cewa mu yanzu tsarin ma ba sai ba magana muke yi ba, aiki muke sai mu bar ayyuka kuma sai suna magana sai mutane suna gani. Tsare-tsaren da muke yi yanzu ba mun fara tsarin mu bane da abin da muke so mu yi, muna gyara 'yan matsalolin da muka gada ne. Bayan mun gyara sai mu fara aiki, wanda shine abin da muke sa ran insha Allah ta'ala. Har ila yau na mika kuka na ma'aikata na wanda ma'aikata ne na wucin gadi wanda albashin su 5,000 ne zuwa 15,000, su babazan su ma 15,000 yake dauka. Da su muke aiki ko dare ko rana. Abinda na manta ban faɗa ba shine duk abin da ake a cikin garin Bauchi mai girma gwamna yana dubawa. Ba zan manta ba da izinin ka mai girma gwamna zan faɗa musu kwana 2 da na je wurinka. Ka ce mun dan saurara aikin mu ya fara tsayawa, ka faɗi wasu wurare da kaga shara. Wannan yana nuna cewa kana taya mu aiki mai girma gwamna ko mun gode kwarai da gaske. A ƙarshe na faɗa cewa wannan ma'aikata an santa ne da ɗiban shara, amma dokar da ta kafa mu ta ba mu dama muna da abubuwa sun kai 37 da za mu iya yi. Wannan wurin gwajin ƙasa da ruwa da iska da tsirrai har ma da wasu nau'i na kayan gwada abinci yana ɗaya daga cikin ayyukanmu. Muna sa rai in mun samu lasisi kamar certificate kenan duk abin da nan da ta zo ta yi abuci za ta ce ba sai ku yi sai ku tura mana da ko shi kenan mun riga mun yarda. Wannan shi ne abin da muke tsammani. Mai girma gwamna muna godiya kwarai da gaske, muna wa kowa fatan alkhairi kuma ina ƙara jaddada godiya ta musamman ga shi kwamishina na wanda dare da rana nake zuwa gidansa. Da ji shawarinsa duk abin da na yi tunanin ya kamata a yi saboda shekarunsa sai na je na tattauna da shi ya ce to wannan ya dace wannan kuma bai dace ba. Sauran ma'aikatu kuma sun taimaka mana ta hanyoyi daban-daban. Na yi magana akan hukumar wasa da take harkar samar da ruwa. Mun zo mun samu BASEPA nan tun da aka yi ta babu wurin samun ruwa. Da na sami mai girma mataimakin gwamna na masa kuka sai ce da je ruwa su zo su mu. Lai ta matsawa shi ba wannan sakatare yau da gobe na da na ofis ya daga mota ta zo ta fara tono. Ba da dadewa ba muna tunanin duk wani wuri a cikin BASEPA nan zai zama yana da ruwa. Har ma da wurin da muke tada tsirran da shi MC ya faɗa suna nan a baya muna sa ne duk hanyar da mai girma gwamna ya gwada ya gama za mu je mu yi. Da mu da wayannan partners da muke magana na abokan haɗaka shine za mu haɗu mu wannan aiki ba tare da gwamnati ta kashe kuɗin ta ba insha Allah. Mai girma gwamna muna godiya kwarai da gaske, muna maka fatan alheri, muna kowa fatan alheri, Allah mai da kowa gidan shi lafiya. To na manta ban faɗa abin da na fara da shi ba. Mai girma gwamna ya je taziya a cikin gari a jiya, wani dattijo mai kusan shekara 70 ya zo ya tsuguna a gaban mai girma gwamna ya kuka cewa duk garin na akwai sauro ta ko'ina. Mai girma gwamna bai ƙarasa gida ba sai da ya sa aka kira ni lalle in da shi a gida. Ina shiga ya ce ina kayan aikin ka dafe shi, nace suna ofis. ya ce ina so daga nan zuwa gobe jibi ka tabbata ka fita ka fi shekarun Bauchi ga baki ɗaya an ce sauro ya daina cizon mutane. Wannan abu ne da yake nuna cewa mai girma gwamna ya damu da al'umma kuma ya aminta da mu cewa za mu iya. Ba zan manta ba sai na faɗi wannan shi ma muna godiya ga kwamishinan ilimi da ya ba mu dama dan abin da muka yi nan gaba ɗaya a feshin makarantu da muka yi ne muka samu. Amincinsa da ni, amincinsa da BASEPA ya sa ya ji cewa za mu iya ya ba mu dan ya gwada mu ya ba mu makarantun da za a rubuta jarabawa ya ce mun diji na baka awa 48. Na baka makaranta 149 kuma ina so a ce an gama su. Ina cika awa 23 na kira shi na ce na yi kashi 50. Ina cika awa 47 na kira shi na ce makaranta ɗaya ne ta gagare ni tana na a cikin ɓagwaro ya ce ka falle kofar ta ka shiga ta mutu ka je ka feshe musu kuma na gama kafin awa 48. Wannan ya sa ya samu aminci ya ga cewa za mu iya ya ba mu makarantun jihar Bauchi guda 7,000 gaba ɗaya. Hukumar BASEPA ne ta yi bayan mun gama ko muka biya makarantun nan certificate cewa duk wanda ya zo koda daga federal ko daga ina ne ya ce ina ɗaya daga cikin dokokin da aka sa don buɗe makaranta kuma certificate ɗin BASEPA ya wadatar muku. Mun gode kare daga sai ya excellency. Thank you very much.
A gaida Dr. Ibrahim Kabir.
Ina za ka tafi kana Allah ka rage kira dai.
Wallahi zan tafi BASEPA.
Ba ga nika ne ga tuwo ga ruwa ga kasa. BASEPA kasa ne ka sani. Ka je mu ka tafi ba ka shafe ta ka je BASEPA.
Kai wani wani lokaci baka da fasali. Wannan kasa da kake ganin ta. To ka san iyalai sun mun yawa.
Gaskiya.
Ga mata ga yara gidana kaza da gwamna ya zo ya rushe rushen nan. Saboda a daɗa faɗa da gari.
Yawwa.
To gidana sai ya shiga gaba da ya sai na daga hannu na gode ma Allah na ce an rushe gidana a lokacin gwamna adali. Sai aka sunkuɗa min kuɗi sai na tafi yanke. Na nemi mace tambili zan gina upstairs. To shi ne sai aka ban labari aka ce an daga zuwan gwamna da ya ɗauko wani jajircaccen diji a BASEPA. Yaro matashi mai kwakwalwa. Shi ne sai ya kirkiro abu a sannu sai ya kirkiro abin da ya shafi gwace-gwace. Da mahallin kanta na kasa. Kamance ne shi ne zan je a gwada mun kasan shin za ta iya ɗaukan upstairs ko ba za ta ɗauka ba. To shi yasa shi ne ne ajiya. Zan tafi ajiya gwada wannan kasa. Wannan abinci da kake gani da ruwa. Jiya a gidana. Godiya kwamishin. Kada yi ko da suka ci abincin sai ciki ya rude. Shan ne nake wasu wasin wannan ruwan ne ko kuma tuwon ne. In shinkafar ne ka ganin haɗa su da BASEPA inda matsala kun aka auna sai a tantance gaskiya. Shi ne ka gana ko tuwon ɗungurungun. Pardon. A je a gwada tuwon a gani a kuma gwada ruwan a gani idan da matsala shi kenan sai ga mataki. Pardon. To idan da kai bawo. Ciki ya ba shi karɓar sun ka iya tafiya. Kuma shi ma ne ya saka ba shara ne aikin su ba. Shi ne ka da gida ba ta gaba ta kenan da Allah a da ne ka san iya shara aikin su. To aikin BASEPA na gama ya kai 37. Shi shara nan wallahi ma yanzu ne in ji ba ture minus. A cikin aikin da wallahi a cikin ayyukan su. Rayuwar mu da inganta lafiyar mu da komai yana karkashin su kansu. Ga yi nan to ai kwanan nan mai girma gwamna ya ce duk wanda da ya biyo wata idan ba a ga tambayin BASEPA kuma ba a tsaya ba. Mai gaba da yake lalata a wasu kuma ya kan goci. To shi yasa na gama yanzu haka ina hanyoyin da gwamna yake wata ba sun je sun share sun auna sun dubu kilomitas ɗin. Su ba su danna wata da yake da suna bishiyoyi a kuma sa masu kula. Kana ji na? Ya ba ne dai. Shi da lafiya ne mun aika. Sai dan waka. Kana ji na? Sun ne yan kasuwa. Su ma su jawo matasa a rage zaman banza da yawan kwaram. Gaskiya da basu su ma a ba su aiki su dinga tsaftace kasuwanni ana iban kayan ana inganta shi kansa sharan yanzu za ta zama kuɗi don ubanta a wuce. Wani ya ta samu ma'aikaci gwamna na gwamna mai tausayin al'umma duk in kaga ya fita ya je Abuja ya kwana biyu yaya za a yi a kawo ci gaba ne a jihar Bauchi wanda ba a taɓa samun sa ba. Allah ya ji farota wani farota daya mai kasuwan wanci
dawowar mai girma gwamna daga Abuja nan nuna da harfari yake kalawa kyalkyali yake a jirgin take ne ita ne
a'a ni ba na cikin
yana magana
ina ga maka to da ya gama shawarar nan burinsa shine ina za a je a nemo kuɗi a yi aiki wa jihar Bauchi ta inganta
gaskiya ne kwasa wallahi a dabi na yadda kwaso to amma mai girma gwamna shi a ina yake samun kuɗi yake sabka aiki wanda da mu a can ɗin ni ne sanar ne
sai dai in tambayi SSG farin balarabe ko in tambayi chief of staff na dan sanu ko kuma in tambayi SSA media in ka san ni dai bara je kai tsaye in tambayi gwamnati ce idan yake samu kuɗi ba amma abin kan da mamaki sai ya rasa ya yake
sai da kai shi da ka bari
wannan na ga mu da kama shi ai gwamnati ne mu da mu kawo da yawa zan tambayi ma kokarin gwamna ya gaya min ina gwamna yake samun kuɗi ne albashi ba ya tsayawa pension ba ya tsayawa ya ce giratutun ma a ci gaba da yi ana ba ma jama'a kaji na nan kaji Allah sarki
mai kwale-kwale ba zai hana wure waye ne a kayan wure
mai santaran
mai kwale-kwale tsifika kai wannan ana yi wallahi sai mu kai awa ana Allah ya gwamna albarka
gwamna duk wannan abu da kake gani albarkacin damna ne albarkacin ya sa bari ka ji tun da kace kana maganar mashin ko yau za ka ci albarkacin gwamna ba dan yi kafara ba kuma a koma gona ne ga yamma yau albarkacin gwamna za ka ci sai an samu wanda zai baka mashin duk adawan da kake ga daina za a rashin ba na rantsi da Allah za a baka mashin yau an kuma ba a baka ba duk matakin da ka ga dama ka zo ka dauka a kaina
to bari da mana commissioner of police ne da bikin dinka
ko ka ga masu yaso
to ma gode ba san mutum da kaga
to na da Allah ma albarka amin Allah ya saka ma kona goma na
za mu je karɓar mashin din ne tare da mana chairman na wasu Your Excellency, sir, the Executive Governor of Bauchi State, Senator Bala Muhd Kauran Bauchi, Jagaban Katagum, CFR, the Chief Judge, Bauchi State, the SSG Bauchi State, the Speaker, Bauchi State House of Assembly. Your Excellencies, permit me to stand on the existing protocol established. Like what the MC has mentioned, I am an indigenous of Bauchi State, and I'm happy to associate myself with the distinguished Senator, Your Excellency, Bauchi State Governor. This is the first time as a regulator we're having a northerner as the registrar CEO, and the first is coming from Bauchi State. I'm delighted to be here today to mark a history. And the Council of Environmental Health, which is the custodian of sanitation in Nigeria, we are happy to be here today. I want to start by, first and foremost, congratulating Your Excellency, sir, by appointing a seasoned administrator, a seasoned politician as the Commissioner of Environment. And to add it up, distinguished Senator, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor, is by appointing one of my members to be the DG of BASEPA. And that's why you are seeing the transformation we are seeing today. Your Excellency, sir, like what the DG has mentioned, investment in sanitation is a big investment. And that's why when the colonial masters came into the country, they came with the sanitary inspector because they don't want to be spending money. And I believe with the directive you have given to the DG, you will reduce and save a lot of cost in funding the primary health care in Bauchi State, because we know malaria alone accounts for more than 95% of the hospitalization in Bauchi State. And for us to get it right, no matter how much money you have spent in primary health care, you are rolling back malaria. But now, Your Excellency, sir, let me appreciate you and congratulate you for deciding to change the narration by rolling back mosquito out of Bauchi State. With that singular action, Your Excellency, I'm telling you, malaria is going to be out of Bauchi State. We are here, Your Excellency, as a regulator and also to support our work, because we know he is trying to change the narration and the practice of sanitation in Bauchi State by establishing the first in Nigeria, owned by the federal government, the Environmental and Public Health Laboratory. This laboratory is very important to our practice because we know the environmental officers today have gone analog. There is no way they can make justification in the competent court of law in prosecuting sanitary offenders without giving scientific evidence. And this scientific evidence is what this laboratory will really address, because we know diseases agents are passed through this four media that is going to be handled by the Bauchi State Environmental Protection Agency. And let me use this opportunity, Your Excellency, to also assure you that the council under my leadership, first, we are going to accredit this laboratory and also support to make the laboratory to be of international standard. This will go a long way, Your Excellency, in boosting the revenue generation of Bauchi State Environmental Protection Board. Like we know, sanitation business is a serious business, and the governor is a very serious person, and that's why he is investing in the sanitation. So we want to commend you, sir, and on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Environment, sir, I want to use this opportunity to also appreciate Your Excellency for the support you have given BASEPA in the decontamination exercise while the government is trying to reopen schools. It has gone a long way in providing the necessary measures for the containment of coronavirus. Your Excellency, sir, it is as a member, as a board member of the Society for Environmental and Public Health Practitioners in Nigeria, I'm hereby nominating him as a distinguished fellow of the Society for Environmental Health and Public Health in Nigeria. I want to request Your Excellency, with your permission, sir, to invite the President of the Society for the investiture. May I, at this point, invite as Professor Sanitarian Amadi Abu, the President, Environmental and Public Health Practitioners of Nigeria, to come and invest the government. Thank you, Your Excellency. Was born in 58 at Duguri Town in the area of Bauchi State. He attended Duguri Primary School, Bauchi, from 1967 to 71, where he scored the first school leaving certificate. After that, he was admitted into government secondary school Bauchi from 1972 to 1976, where he passed his task. From there, he proceeded to Swiss College of Art and Science between 1977 and 1979. For his advance, thereafter, he gained admission into the University of Edinburgh in 1979 and graduated in 1982.
With a certificate of the Institute of Purchase and Supplies.
Senator Bala Muhd is a proud member of journalism profession. He began his skills in the early 80s and rose to the position of news editor of the Mirage newspaper Jos between 1982 and 1983. He also had a stint as a news reporter with the News Agency of Nigeria now.
In 1984, Senator Bala Muhd left his flourishing journalism career for civil service when he got employed under the Federal Ministry of Interior in 1990.
Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to introduce the National Coordinator of Clean Up Nigeria, Secretary of the National Technical Study Group of the States of the Nigerian Environment Report, Prince Ene Obaho, Junior, PhD. A recipient of United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP Global 500 Award, to present the 2019 Cleanliness of Index rating of all states to town in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, all protocols duly observed. It's important that we actually state that this is not just an award. The import of the State's Cleanliness Performance Index actually started in 2018 when Clean Up Nigeria, an international NGO with special consultative status with Social and Economic Council of the United Nations, had its silver jubilee. Yearly, we run the Cleanliness Performance Index using established indices. But most interestingly, we'd like to note that the Cleanliness Performance Index is captured using the latest and the most up-to-date satellite, which is called the JOI-1. The JOI-1 captures with precision at 0.02 cm, that is 16 inches, where you can have all color coloration reticles in order to be able to establish. It's important at this point that we state clearly the indices applied are 1. Cleanliness of the streets, 2. Waste management, 3. Knowledge, attitude, and practice of the people, 4. Vegetation control and destilling, and 5. Public opinion poll. Professor Solomon Balogo, a distinguished environmental scholar from the University of Wisconsin, Madison, is the chairman of the 15-man study group. The 15-man study group engages in year-round, every quarter basis, the physical verification of the cleanliness index, north-south, northeast, the 6 geopolitical zones. The 15-man committee is equally staggered, where the 3 members move to another different region. So what we have today as the Green Crystal Award has as its basics the main objective, which is 1, to stimulate government interest in issue of sanitation, waste management, and public hygiene. Use the opportunity provided to catalyze government action in modernizing waste management. 3rd, use the same scientific index analysis to fight the over 25 different diseases that emanate from poor sanitation, for which malaria is one of the uppermost setting. 5, and most importantly, is the issue of saying to it that the people are equally carried along in terms of their attitude and practice of it. At this juncture, Your Excellency, permit us.
I think you go.
In the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker of the Bauchi State House of Assembly, my Lord, the Chief Judge, my Lord, the Grand Cadi, the Chairman House Committee on Environment and Forestry, other members of the Bauchi State House of Assembly, members of the State Executive Council, the Secretary to the Government, the Head of Service, the Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of Environmental Health Officers Registration Council of Nigeria, the Registrar, the President, ISPON, the Chairman, Savannah Institute for Sustainable Development, the National Coordinator, Clean Up Nigeria, our distinguished partners, especially the partners of BASEPA, Chief Executives of parastatals and heads of ministerial departments, distinguished invitees, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm highly honored, and Bauchi State is highly honored. I'm highly honored to be in the premises of Bauchi State Environmental Protection Agency, BASEPA, and welcome everyone to this very important occasion, which is the first of its kind in our dear state. This occasion is auspicious because we are commissioning a modern laboratory facility that will serve as a reference center for testing the quality of core environmental components, which include water, air, soil, and plants. I'm happy to inform all and sundry that the sophistication associated with the installed capacity in this laboratory allows us to test a minimum of 15 parameters of each of the core environmental components listed. This is but a platform for enriching lives in the context of a well-protected environment, hence the aspiration of every progressive society. As we are all aware, environment means everything. It is the source of the air we breathe, the water we desperately need to survive, the food for our nourishment, the shelter that protects us, the clothes that gives us dignity, and the energy that propels and powers us to do everything else. We do everything within the context of the environment. No sustainable development could be achieved without being mindful of the environment. It is this strong fact that makes environment our priority as a government. Government is not only safeguarding the environment, but also ensuring that we improve it for our own benefit and that of the future generation of Nigerians, especially Bauchi citizens. Let me say without fear of contradiction that we came into power. When we came into power, we inherited an unwholesome environment from the previous administration. An environment was accumulated heaps of garbage in all nooks and crannies of our urban centers, particularly the capital city of the state. Other multidimensional problems range from poor waste management, flooding, soil erosion to deforestation, desertification, desert encroachment, and so on and so forth. To this end, we have been able to identify environmental challenges we face, and we have professionally designed all necessary frameworks on how to effectively address such challenges. You are all living witnesses and can attest to how we are able to record gigantic improvement in waste management through construction of modern and durable waste collection centers, prompt collection of waste, stakeholders engagement, rigorous community sensitization and engagement, repairs and procurement of new heavy machineries, and prompt payment of our waste management service providers. We are able to accomplish all these unprecedented successes at a time of dwindling resources. At this point, I wish to acknowledge the presence of Clean Up Nigeria, an organization saddled with the responsibility of research and development of environmental cleanliness in Nigeria. I'm happy to inform you that this body has conducted a thorough independent study on environmental cleanliness and has rated Bauchi State as the cleanest in the northeast region of the country. We are indeed very happy to hear this. Based on this assessment, we are today receiving an award for our performance. We are indeed very grateful. I want to assure Clean Up Nigeria on the fact that we will not relent or become reluctant because of this recognition. This award will spur us to do more, because I clearly understand in this forum, on this occasion, that we are collaborating and interacting with one of the best global bodies that has an NGO responsibility for independent assessment and making us build our capacity at the subnational level to be able to catch up with our colleagues at national level with a view to providing environmental sustainability. Government knowing fully well the need for evidence and empirical data in dealing with emerging environmental problems, we join the global trend of responding to issues based on scientific facts. I have directed the Director General of this agency to set up a team of environmental experts that will conduct environmental scan for the state. The scan will highlight both existing and anticipated environmental problems across the 20 local governments areas in the state, identify vulnerable groups, measure the magnitude of the problems, provide solutions in accordance with the best management practice, and provide cost estimates for implementation of the proposed solutions. The Environmental Science Laboratory we are commissioning today will serve as a one-stop solution center for analyzing and custody of samples gathered from the environmental scan. Conventionally, it is indeed apparent that most alarming and worrisome environmental challenges confronting us are attributable to negative attitudes, especially at community levels. In the light of the foregoing, government is formulating favorable policies that will clearly outline and inform the citizens of the state about their roles and responsibilities in ensuring environmental cleanliness. The policies are for once initiated. Policies are not initiated to inconvenience anyone. However, we deem it necessary to involve every one of us to maximally contribute in the journey of ensuring sustainable development. Equally, the draft of Bauchi State Waste and Pest Management Policy, which is currently under review by relevant stakeholders, and recent directives of flagging up of environmental sanitation exercise in the entire 20 local government areas of the state will go a long way in our effort to achieve this sensitization. Definitely will crave the indulgence of our State House of Assembly to come up with a durable legal framework of ensuring environmental sustainability. May I at this point commend the effort of all stakeholders for putting heads together in the environmental sector of the state, particularly Bauchi State Environmental Protection Agency for coordinating the activities of the stakeholders. We closely watch your activities, and the feedbacks from the general public attest to the capacity leadership in that regard. This is in line with our principle of inclusive governance and free resources. We use little money and do a lot. I'm happy that the Commissioner has confirmed that something that would have been done with over 100 million naira to renovate our trucks, we are only using 2 million and they are there standing renovated. This is what we are doing as a government, to look inward and fight corruption. And to free resources. Free resources means that there is a lot in the system that we can free and use. We don't have to depend on international NGOs. We don't have to depend on the federal government. We don't have to depend on the state government. We have so much resources that we are not using. And that's why we are fighting ghost worker syndrome to free resources and employ people. At this juncture, I want to reply and respond to the plea of both the Commissioner and the DG on those staff that are on casual basis, that casualization of the workforce in Bauchi State is a general phenomenon. We cannot just solve it here in BASEPA. It will have to be all embracing. And that's why we have to free resources through the nominal role and so on and so forth. Right now we have over 500 million that we have saved from ghost worker syndrome. And by the beginning of next year, by the grace of God, we are going to look inward and employ our youth. What I will say here, because of the presence of these 40 partners, international NGOs and the registrar, we are starting with BASEPA by the time we start. As I said, this is in line with our inclusive governance and looking inward. While commending the Director General for achieving this feat, may I call on other MDAs to celebrate BASEPA for utilizing little resources to build an environmental laboratory worth over 40 million naira. I also urge you to continue to be innovative, resourceful, and solution-focused in all your activities. You have the assurances of this administration of total support in achieving all your statutory mandates and corporate objectives. I want to seize this opportunity to clear a point on our relationship with some of the institutions, especially the Malikia School in this area, that is training environmental sanitation officers and other health-related officers. The Malik in Bauchi is my friend, and in my dictionary, friendship is just a framework. It's a means to an end, it's not an end. Our government inherited monumental problems. We have not been paying scholarship for our own nurses in Dangote College of School of Nursing. And of course, even our health workers in Ningi. And here we are, the government signing an agreement to be giving millions of naira to a private institution to train environmental sanitation officers that the system doesn't need. We have trained over 2,000 in Ningi, and we have not employed them. And we have been deceiving and deluding our parents, our voters, by making them to bring their wives and their children to a school where at the end of the day there is no work for them. Even the system has phased out this cadre. You can see we have only casual workers working here. This is the place where we would have employed them. Dubagari is no longer in the system. Why do you train somebody that you don't need? So we have nothing against them. Recently we have restored scholarship to our School of Nursing. If we need nursing, our School of Nursing is training them. If we need health technologies, Ningi is training them. Of course, we will encourage them to train, and we can give scholarship. But certainly, I will not be there freeing resources from somewhere to bring into the system, to build the system, and then I will be wasting it for the private endeavor that has nothing to do with our government program. I have discussed with our health ministry whether this accreditation is total. I know how I fought to get the total accreditation of the Institute of Nursing and so on. I don't know the position of this. So if the parents are bringing their words to a school where at the end of the day there is no work for them, and we have so much, many of them in the system that we are not employing, I think we are not doing ourselves justice. I will say look inward, ask the Commissioner of Health and the Commissioner of Environment to look at the plight of the young children that have been subjected into this very serious ambivalence. I am taking time to talk about this because it has been on the front burner. I have nothing against the Malikia School, but because of my training, because of my global exposure, I don't work on the basis of mediocrity and just personalization or subjectivity. I base everything based on globally acceptable templates and government regulations and guidelines before I take action. I so much regret the pains and inconveniences being faced or caused those young children and their parents because they are just roaming about the street without any future. Thank you very much. On this note, I appreciate the Killing of Nigeria for giving me this award, and of course my brother, my alumnus, who gave me, what's the name of the award? Sanitation Ambassador. Safety Ambassador. So I thank you most sincerely for coming to Nigeria. Once again, thank you for putting us on the map. I will take steps to meet some of you because I know what you mean to Nigeria, not only Bauchi, but when we come to our level, we know that you are coming here is an attestation that Bauchi is being put on the map and will not take your own presence here or what you have given us for granted. We will make sure we will live up to the expectations or the quality that you expect from us in terms of the output of this agency. On this note, I have the honor and pleasure to declare the official commissioning of the Environmental Science Laboratory open to the glory of God and to the benefit of the people of Bauchi State and Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Science Laboratory. Where is the registrar, please? Okay, registrar, you come here.
Environmental Science Laboratory to the glory of God and to the benefit of the people of Bauchi State and Nigeria.
Thank you. So, Your Excellency. This is Your Excellency.
Environmental Science Laboratory commissioned by Monday, 30th.
One day abound in freedom, peace and unity.